Formula 2 is pretty wild when the series races in Baku, and this weekend did not disappoint. A crazy sprint race in Formula 2 was followed by a relatively calm feature race in round 4 of the season. And here are the drivers that stood out in Baku for me. Who else could we start with but the Prema driver Ollie Bearman, who took both victories and pole position in Azerbaijan this weekend. The British driver only missing out on a full house of points thanks to Isaac Hadjar's feature race fastest lap. The teenager took pole on Friday, battling a steering wheel that wasn't even pointing in the right direction, and navigated the carnage of the lap 19 restart in the sprint race to snatch his maiden win from teammate Fred Vesti when the Dane made an error moments before the safety car was called out for the third time in that race. There was a little bit of fortune to that win, but Bearman's earlier pace had vaulted him up from 9th in the order into a position where he could capitalise on such a wild restart. But his feature race win was far less fortunate. He showed pace and composure in equal measure to repass Théo Pourchaire's ART, who had surged to the lead on lap 3, having started 3rd on the grid. And while others may have panicked in that situation, Bearman took the lead back on lap 4 and stayed ahead of the Frenchman to the end of the race. An astonishingly successful weekend for the Briton means he now climbs to 4th in the championship standings. My next driver is Kush Maini, another F3 graduate for this year. The Indian driver delivered 2 more solid points finishes, 4th in the sprint and 6th in the feature race. Maini's only failed to score on 1 occasion so far this season, and in Baku he found himself battling with Dennis Hauger, who's won multiple races in the series, and that was for a points-paying position, a solid one as well. And what made Maini's Azerbaijan performance so impressive was that both of his results came despite starting 14th on the grid. And while the Indian thrived, his more experienced teammate Ralph Boschung floundered and eventually finished the feature race last. The 22-year-old has quietly gone about his business and sits 5th in the standings. And my final driver who stood out this weekend for me in Formula 2 is Enzo Fittipaldi. The Red Bull Junior enjoyed his best weekend of the season in Baku with Rodin Carlin. He had a front row start, having qualified 2nd on the grid on Friday, and the Brazilian turned that into his first podium for his new team in the feature race. He also finished 5th in the sprint, but his pace wasn't as good in that race. The chaos on lap 19 kind of elevated his finishing position. But on Sunday, the speed for the Rodin Carlin driver massively improved, and the 21-year-old overtook ART's Théo Pourchaire to regain that earlier lost P2 and score his first podium for the new team. And talking of Pourchaire, he now leads the Formula 2 Championship ahead of Frederic Vesti, Ayumu Iwasa, Ollie Bearman and Kush Maini. They're the 3 drivers who stood out most for me in Formula 2 this weekend. Tell me in the comments who stood out most for you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a nice big thumbs up for me. Subscribe for more Grand Prix content. Thanks very much for watching.